Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is July, and we are back live with Midwich Live. My name is Chris Neto. I'm one of your hosts. I am joined by my co-host, or the host of the show. I'm only the mouth and the mouth of the South, maybe. No, I don't know. Jenny Hicks, how are you?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Chris. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to your Friday AV talk show. As always, we're streaming around the world via Midwich's YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch socials. Do ask us questions or comment throughout using the chat function on whichever platform you're joining us on, and we will see it. And if you don't get a chance to watch us today, don't worry. You can watch it back via Midwich's YouTube channel. Just search Midwich. Don't forget to subscribe, and the show will also be available in podcast format for those who don't like our faces via Midwich Sounds in the coming days. We have 3 guests today, Chris.
We can't control this. It's out of control. Now we started with 1, we moved to 2, now we're 3. We got to talk to producer Ben. We need some better containment of this. The show is the guest list is getting out of control.
Do you know what, though? We actually started with 0 because if you remember, on the very first show, our guest didn't manage to join us because of bandwidth issues, which is possibly a good time for me to hint that I've been having some buggy experience over the last week, and occasionally I just go black screened. You can hear me, you can't see me. If that happens today, I'm going to disappear and rejoin. We still don't know what it is in this house that is triggering my outage, but Chris is prepared to dance if I have to go. So look out for the dance if that happens.
That's it. A little soft shoe never hurt anybody.
So today's show, the role that AV plays in live events and broadcast, because is just so relevant at the moment. And the funniest thing is we are the living proof and example of what has happened. So COVID hit. In-person events came to an absolute abrupt stop, and very, very quickly we saw mass innovation in streaming and content creation. And for me, we cannot go back now. So we've set a standard. We've seen people create some really great stuff, great webinars that are more professional than they would have been in the past, and not just used for training and so on. And us, we created a talk show to be able to get some of our messaging out there, and it's been so much fun. But it's probably worth us quickly explaining, Chris, to people how we actually do this, because it's not just you and me.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, we can, because the way that this has happened is that you can do it DIY, but you're not going to get a professional kind of look and feel to it. And we honestly, to be a host of a show and to run the show itself and to do all the pre-work,
it's not doable.
It's out of control, but we have to give credit where credit's due. We have producer Ben and executive producer Rachel sitting in the background as well, working it, and we have a whole team of people that are helping us with these funny and great graphics that we put up there. But the way the DIY market kind of came about, the DIY market of this home, the home streaming is what really has been the reinforcement to the pro world that this can be done, and it is a viable solution. Right here we are doing a live stream. It takes a little bit to be more professional than the person who's just sitting here with a codec and trying to do a stream from a video conference, but this is a little bit more, it's a little bit more detailed, and it's definitely the ability to take it to our social channels is what differentiates it. But as good as the technology is, there is a hook. There is there is the quality of the video that needs to be important. It's the stream quality that's important. The camera, the audio. It's a big, complete kind of thing. Am I wrong?
Yeah, and no, you're exactly right. And I think we're still learning. So there's lots of things. There's some bugs within the software that we use, silly things like when we want to put somebody as a large window and have the other guests in smaller pictures, we still haven't worked out how we can't change the default person that goes up. So you'll notice sometimes when we do that, Chris's head goes really big, even though he's not the one talking. And a couple of seconds later, it goes through. So, we're trying to work out these bugs as we go along. We're I guess 5 months into our shows now. We're still learning. Chris uses a great 4K SLR camera. So with the compression that goes out, his video and some of the the streams look significantly better than mine. I'm on a 1080p camera, but the reason that I stick with this particular camera is it has auto tracking. So when I'm doing things by day, I'm wandering around and it tracks me around this room. But because of the compression, it doesn't do as great a job when we're in a situation like this. So there's just so much to learn. We're learning on the job. We're very, very fortunate that we have 3 group companies who specialize in broadcast, who quite often get in touch after a show and sort of go, guys, this happened today. You can make it better by doing this. So, you know, we're not experts, but we are living it. So ask us your questions and tell us what you've been doing.
We you know, what we have in front of us, I'm happy to reveal what I have. I mean, honestly, I'll just go into very quickly what I do have in front of me. I have an Elgato Stream Deck. I got an Elgato ring light that's kind of lighting me up. My microphones are professional quality microphones. Now, I don't go USB in. I go through a mixer. So I have a mixing board, a USB mixing board off to the side. And I do have a special camera. I won't reveal what it is because it's under NDA, but I'll tell you, it does stand out. But, you know, we are going to have some great guests who who have the better pro setups than the one that I have. So, and when we get to them, they're going to tell you some really cool stuff and probably enlighten you on the fact that it's not just, you know, a throwing tech at something to make it work. It's a holistic approach. And that is what makes it really nice, is that when you start bringing in the lighting, the sound, the technical side of it, obviously with getting the right gear in place, but it's also how are you setting up your streams, and how are you pre-planning and getting all that and having an engaging guest for your events and stuff like that. Because I've been in a ton of these webinars and web conferences, and if you don't have somebody who's going to drive the conversation and engage with the folks, it kind of falls flat. So today, you know, for our online viewers that are out there on the LinkedIn AV Tweeps world on Twitter and Twitch and stuff like that, let us know what is the important thing for you guys to get from these online events. Is it the engaging hosts? Is it a technical thing? Do you want the flash of a really cool kind of show and videos being added in? You tell us. We would love to hear your voice.
Yeah, definitely. And okay, so before we bring on our first guest, who's actually a pre-recorded interview, as he couldn't be with us today, but someone I think everyone would be very interested to hear from. Let's just talk a little bit about what's really changed in the sort of broadcast AV merged space over the last 18 months, because as always on this show, we have a little look at the impact of the pandemic. But away from that, but certainly driven by the pandemic, there's something that I really noticed. ISE Digital, for those that don't know, all of the videos are now uploaded online. And there was a great piece with some guests, one particularly from Disguise, who they were talking about live tours and so on, and how music artists have been live streaming instead of doing their usual in-person performances, and the difficulties that came with that. And it made me realize something. So for those of you who've been watching Disguise, who are a fantastic video production and content control system, hardware and software platform, they have created something called the XR space, where we create a studio made entirely out of LED. There's intelligence around the shadowing of a person on that LED floor. It's fantastic. Please go check it out. And Katy Perry is probably one of the most exciting examples of an artist who's used this. And on American Idol, she performed in one of these XR studios, and it's brilliant. Look it up on YouTube and do watch it. But I realized that we've come pretty much full circle over the last 5 to 7 years. So if we go back to Space Jam, Mary Poppins, and so on, we always historically layered those graphics over the human content. And now, because of the innovation that's come out of the pandemic, we're doing the opposite. We are layering the humans over the digital. And I think that's really interesting. And it makes me feel really quite excited for where things go. And I think that it's a clear message that your in-person event now, there is an expectation that you will be able to get some, if not all of that content shared out to people, either for viewing on demand or to watch in real time when they're unable to make it. And I think, we have a great example of a company who had started to do this. So Chris, you in fact were part of the live streaming of the AV Awards at the last occasion where we were able to be there in person.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing the AV Award stream now for a few years. We did it last year virtually, and prior to that, myself and Tim Albright from AV Nation were on site doing the live stream out, and it was a very interesting thing because at the time, prior to obviously the pandemic, streaming from anyone from any place was not really something that people were really doing. And I credit AV Mag because they were one of the first that they kind of reached out and said, hey, we would love to be able to broadcast this out to the audiences in the US and through other parts of the world. And not make it such a local event to just the UK. And it's a very formal event for folks that have not been there. And Jenny has been there and has been an award winner at the show and stuff like that. Congratulations. I mean, these trophy cases today. I mean, God, you guys, you guys keep winning. So my experience with the AV Mag Awards has been, we go there. It's kind of a studio setup. The first year we were kind of off to the side. You didn't see us. You didn't know we were there, but we were there. We were off to the side at the Grosvenor House. But then when we went to London and we went down to the Battersea, we have a proper setup with the background. Like that is the closest that I think I've ever been to, like the on-field NFL experience prior to my own NFL experience as an intern, but actually running a show or hosting a show from the show floor in the middle of the crowd. That's where we were, up on a balcony with the awards behind us. I think that they really pushed the envelope early on, and we were getting some of the number returns back from people that were watching live, and they were in the hundreds and thousands. So we got lucky. And we're looking to continue that. And, the AV Awards is something that, is in the future in the horizon. And if everything, cross your fingers, hopefully things, we can
all be there in person.
Yeah.
Maybe Chris, you and I even in the same room for, the first time properly. So I feel like I have to take advantage of the fact that we're talking about the AV Awards because the shortlists were announced last week. And Midwich has been shortlisted for 2 awards. The first is Distributor of the Year, which is something that we regularly enter, and fingers crossed we do well. And the second is a completely new category for us, and that is shortlisted for Venue Project of the Year for Innovation House, which, as everyone knows, is very dear to my heart. So I'm really excited just to have been shortlisted for that, and what great exposure for our facility to be able to say that we have been shortlisted. And we caught up with Clive midweek because he wasn't going to be available for today. And we pre-recorded an interview with Clive on our subject matter for today. Yep. So shall we play it now?
Let's go to the videotape. Joining us today, a man without a need for an introduction, the man, the myth, the legend of AV Mag, Mr. Clive Couldwell. How are you, sir?
Dear goodness me. I was wondering what you were going to say then for a minute. Yeah, still alive is the answer. Locked in my attic, talking to my imaginary friends, being silly. In fact, very silly, but it's surviving quite nicely. Thank you.
Silly and hot is okay, because we know you got some hot scoop for us. And Jenny has got all the information and questions that our audience is willing, kind of submitted early for us to get to you, because we kind of said we had a mystery guest going on. Welcome, mystery guest. So Jenny, go ahead, fire off the hard questions for Mr. Couldwell to try to answer.
I don't think they're going to be hard questions. So one of the things we were asked, Clive, is how have AV Magazine adapted to the virtual world? Are you like the many who have looked to professional broadcast solutions? And I know the answer because I've actually joined you on an AV Magazine webinar where you have been sitting in a very flash studio. Can you tell us about that?
Well, we are broadcasters. I'm a former broadcast journalist, so I've had years of trying to do this and never really got to do it. And then we were through into a situation where we depended entirely on producing something that was essentially a broadcast medium, for which no one is trained really in the AV world. But everybody has to learn quickly. My skills are years old, so I had to rely on what I did in the 1990s and before. And that was a bit of an update. But of course, just merely transferring stuff into a different medium is not what you should do. You should think differently about the new medium you're using. So anyway, we started years ago to build this thing, and we've very slowly added to it as time has gone on. Because in my view, the content and the quality of it has been the most important thing, not just putting any old pump through a camera and expecting people to, engage with it. And that's what it's about, engagement. And you have to do it professionally, because people have quite high standards of what they see around them in the conventional broadcast world. So we've tried to do that. And of course, we went with the professional broadcasting units for our AV Awards and for everything else. So we've, with the AV Awards itself, we're in that realm of broadcast, if you like, and presentation, probably more experienced than anybody else in a way. But you're as good as your last one in my book. So we had to rethink out the box, I think, for this one.
How hard is that? I of course, now you said something, it triggered an idea, and I have to ask.
Months.
How hard is it? How hard is it to transition from the written to the camera, right?
Very
because
difficult.
as AV professionals, we're used to doing video conferences all day, every day. We've done it for years. And then when the pandemic hits, now all of a sudden we're asked to be on video, and everybody froze. Like, I have to be on video? Like, yes, turn your camera on. How hard is it on your side of the business, right, to make that transition?
Well, it's very difficult on every side of the business, because what people seem to forget are the basics. When I was doing all my broadcasting, that was years of training. So I do it now naturally because I've had years of training. When you put someone in front of a camera, expect them just to perform like a seal, they don't. They're frightened, they're petrified, they're very intimidated by what is a world they don't know anything about. As part of my tools, when I did all my live broadcasting, you get someone into the studio who had no awareness of a studio environment. You could get all the right answers out of them, because they're so petrified they couldn't put any smoke screen they could put in front of you like they would do face to face. So you had them in a barrel. But that's the same thing here. None of us really are practicing broadcast professionals in the conventional sense. It's a different profession. It requires different skills, and that's the intimidatory element of it. But you're not just imparting information like the engineering or the AV market wants you to do. You're creating an experience with that information, make it either entertaining or engaging, so people can remember it. They'll want to see you again. It's not any damn fool can produce something with a camera, as we've seen at various trade shows. It's more than just pointing a camera in front of somebody. It's doing something with the output that really people want to have more of. That's the key.
Yeah, agreed. And I think that the level of expectations has grown, hasn't it? Because we've seen people with this extra time creating engaging, better quality home video content and putting it out there, mostly through social, but sometimes as direct marketing, and with their inability to get in front of people. So our expectations are much higher. And as we move back into in-person events, our expectations of the virtual experience are no longer the sort of half-hearted version of it, because you didn't go in person. You're going to expect much higher quality, which leads us on really, Clive, to the AV Awards. What will that look like this year? What will it look like for the virtual
Me on
attendee?
the stage, obviously, because I'm the centre of it. This is my big comeback performance, so I want a big stage. A bit like Voice of America, what's his name? Bob Hope's not coming to. He thinks Vietnam is just a campaign or whatever it is. Bob likes a war. He likes a big stage, sir. So it's a similar sort of thing. We want to come back big and have that big thing, because I think people are going to flock to it. They're going to want an experience to have a jolly good night and enjoy themselves. And it's a very fine balance you have between respecting the great effort and work that people have done for the AV Awards and providing an event that people as well want to enjoy. They want to see who's done well. They want to see what they've done. So we hope to address that aspect as well. But they also want a jolly good time, network, see their chums, and just put their. It's the night when the industry lets its hair down. So and in the Battersea area, as you've seen with the recent ISE small show that they had there, you can just see how big it is. So it's a theatrical nightmare in the sense of good video, good audio, just seating people properly and putting them down there. So hopefully, when the AV Awards comes to that magical date of the 5th of November, thank goodness, I hope we'll all be there, in our best bib and tucker. I may have to buy a new suit for the occasion. I don't know. Hopefully, it'll be an entertaining evening. But that's as far as I can say at the moment. But it will be hybrid. We'll be expanding it out anyway, as it has been for a number of years. We just haven't shouted from the roof. But in the Battersea, where you're not paying ridiculously extortionate costs for the sort of comms you want in an old hotel where we've been before, you can do a lot of things much more cost effectively. It's down to your creative element and how it's directed and so on.
Now that's called creative editing, because I noticed that we
cut him off.
Yes, we did. No disrespect, Mr. Couldwell. We had to save the best for last. And for those that are watching and those that have been paying attention to at least my socials, I've told you that we have a special announcement. That special announcement is yet to come, but we're going to stop it right there with Mr. Couldwell, because it's not to say that he was going to leak it, but he wasn't going to leak it.
I think it was me that leaked it, wasn't it, on that particular recording? But I went a bit early. Producer Ben said we had to wait. That was for the end of the show. But actually, it was such a perfect place to finish, because we do have the expert that can tell us a bit more about what to do to prepare for those potential connection bandwidth issues when you're at an event. But before we bring on Sebastian, let's just throw out a question. I'm conscious that we've had a few chat issues on today's show, so some of your messages could potentially get lost, as we are receiving quite a lot of we'll call it spam. So we just want to make sure that we haven't missed anything, so we can't scroll back on our platform through the comments that come to us here. So do tell us, please, how you feel right now about in-person events. So we've had a few happen. Did you go to ISE in person, or did you wait for ISE Digital to watch it online? And between now and the end of the year, are you planning to attend an event, or would you prefer to view online? So it can be a one word or 2 words, in person, or you can post to us online, and let's have a look at what the general feel is out there. But on the topic of how to do it and do it well, let's bring in the expert, Sebastian Kanabar from Holdan. Do we have him? Yay!
Good morning, Chris. Good afternoon, Jenny.
Good afternoon, Sebastian. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to jump straight in here. Clive finished by talking about the difficulties he'd experienced when trying to stream the AV Awards from a hotel versus the benefits of then going to an exhibition venue due to connection. Tell us a bit more about that and what people can do, what considerations there need to be for them to successfully get their event out to the streaming world.
Yeah, so I mean, this happens time and time again on IP-based workflows, right? You're trying to push and pull gigabits of data around and then stream it out to the web to audience of thousands, potentially millions. And one of the big things that we see quite regularly is people just not having the hardware that supports that kind of infrastructure. So I would say if you're working with IP-based workflows, whether it's NDI, Dante, SDVOE, invest in a quality network switch. Dead easy to go onto your favorite online store, buy a gigabit switch that has 8 ports, kind of just expect it to work. But when you're trying to pull information, like tons of information at sub millisecond latency, sometimes that hardware just can't handle it.
And there's different options, right? So you've talked to me before about cellular bonding. Can you run through some of the available options in terms of that line out for you when you're streaming an event?
So yeah, I mean, testing your network and making sure that it's able to do what you need it to do is without a doubt the most important thing. Even when you have what you think is a solid connection, issues can occur down the line. Actually, sort of going back to a few years ago when I was covering a festival, we had a dedicated fiber line out of the festival, which all the way up to the headliner coming on stage was super, super solid. Literally 30 minutes before a headliner comes, that bandwidth is decimated purely because of an IT error. We were quite lucky, as you say, cellular bonding, mixing 4G, 5G connections kind of saved the day for us. And on that note, I would also say make friends with the IT department. They will get you out of trouble or give you the answer you need when you need it.
Wow. So this is a common theme just across all AV and lightly touched areas, isn't it? We have got to make better friends with the IT departments. So it's not just now for AV over IP. It's not just for UC deployments. It's for your broadcast and live streaming as well. So if you're near an IT person now, please go hug them. Unless you're still social distancing, in which case don't.
A social distancing wave.
Air hug. Oh, dear. So, Sebastian, talk to us more in terms of hardware. So, obviously, Holdan are experts in this field. We have got another guest joining us shortly, who's joining us from a hardware manufacturer, and a very, very cool one. But it's not just a camera, is it? It's not just a camera and a mic to win with your event. I know we've had some issues before ourselves at some of the Midwich shows where we were really good at setting up panel debates and live streams when we, panel debates and live talks when we only needed to be concerned about the audio and it reaching our immediate audience. The minute that we then needed to consider an audience virtually, everything changed and started to struggle for us, and it became a far more complex setup. So can you give us any tips that we can pass on to our viewers that of what to consider beyond that single camera, beyond that single microphone or microphones for each of us, but what else do they need to think about?
I mean, Clive absolutely hit the nail on the head. Think about your audience. Think about how you're going to engage them, because especially with a hybrid event, you know, your audience aren't just 100 or 1,000 people in the room. There are 10,000, 20,000 people that may be watching this stream. So how do you bring them into that discussion? You know, how do you make them feel included in what they're participating in? There are some great tools available. You know, a lot of the platforms can now integrate with video conferencing packages, Microsoft Teams, Zoom. You have got lots of plugins for software-based vision mixers that can actually gauge that audience reaction. So the like that you get on Facebook or Instagram comes up and is fed back out into that. And you can also feed that to your physical audience so that they know that there are people outside of that room that are watching.
Yeah, I agreed. So it's interesting because the video that I referenced earlier, which led me on to the XR studios and Spaces with the Skies, talked exactly about that for artists who felt like in a virtual world that they were rehearsing and what they were missing. And I guess it's the same in sports and stadia, right? They need that. They need that feedback from an audience to feed off to produce their best work. And maybe this is something that talent shows on the TV have gotten quite right throughout this pandemic, because they have had these sort of massive video walls and LED walls with live Zoom-based viewers and so on. And I think we've got so much more to come from this space.
I know a lot of people were affected during the pandemic with jobs and stuff like that, but can you name a harder job to have than to be a comedian? I mean, honestly, a comedian is one of those people that does improv, that needs to be in front of an audience, that reacts, and his jokes need to have that laugh back. You can't be a comedian. You can't do any of this without that audience. It's a really tough job, and a lot of comedians have really struggled with trying to do the video stuff, because as we saw on a couple of webinars, and not webinars, but seminars that I were on, they brought on a comedian, and the joke went, and it was crickets, and you're like, wait, what? So my advice, as somebody who actually does a lot of videos, if you can take, and this is just my advice to people that are watching, if you want to be better at videos and you want to, up your personality, take some improv classes. There's some stuff that you can learn about improv that you can, quickly change and change directions. That's just me giving a personal tip. It's not a requirement. It's not going to get you CTS points, but learning a little bit about improvisation and how you speak and provide that kind of information will help you immensely on videos, because it is a minefield. You don't know what the next little blip could do. And so there's going to be times where somebody does, their video goes dark, and you need to make up for that. So anyway, I that's my tip of the day. That one's free. Next one will cost.
That's great. So, and obviously outside of going for your improv and acting classes and becoming a super host like our very own Chris Neto, you can speak to Holdan about your hardware requirements to make sure that you have the best possible video. If you are not based in the UK or the Netherlands or parts of Europe, then we also have Midwich Group companies who specialize in broadcast in Germany, New Media AV, and the super cool Australians Blonde Robot. But hey, Sebastian, please tell our viewers where they can reach you if they would like to get in contact.
So if you're based in London, drop me an email. It's sebastiank@holdan.co.uk. Love to catch up for a coffee. If you're not, drop me an email anyway. And if you want to get me on social, LinkedIn or Twitter @pixel_Seb.
Brilliant. Thank
Great.
you so much for joining us.
Thank you,
Thanks
sir.
for having
Appreciate it.
me. Thanks.
But now, can we get a drum roll? We don't even have drum roll sound effects. We are not that
You
professional.
could do like a silent pretend drum roll.
Yes, we're gonna have to do with the like a golf version of a drum roll, which
Hey, we don't need one. Our next guest has, I think, the coolest intro video.
Prepare
so
to be
good.
amazed, folks.
Yeah, and prepare for a little silence from us at the other end of it because we dance along in the background. So we are going to be speaking to Phill from BirdDog. And here's a little teaser video of what BirdDog do before Phill joins us.
God, man. First, it happens every time I watch that video. I don't know what I have this whole big monologue of how great that was, and then I always get caught dancing. Damn. Thank you, Phill, for bringing that.
Oh.
Hey, no problem at all. We have an awesome marketing department who put together some great little videos like that.
I don't know if I
mean,
want to put a
you're
camera
cheating,
in
right?
somebody's face or go throw myself through a window to do like an action scene. I don't know what I'm. You know what? I'm just going to be quiet and control myself. I'm Chris Mute.
I think you're kind of cheating though, Phill, aren't you? Because this is what you guys do. So we would expect nothing less than for you to have an awesome video that's well edited, because this is your topic. This is your super subject. So welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, Phill Lane from BirdDog, the coolest of our guests so far, I think. Tell us, you guys are legendary in your field in streaming and recording and capturing events, and you're used in some of the biggest sports in the world and so on. But we've just had 18 months of a pandemic, and I would love to know if your customer base has changed or what you have seen change in your industry landscape because of what we've just been through.
Yeah, I mean, NDI was originally designed as a broadcast product by New Tech to work with their TriCasters, so for studios and higher end customers. Over the last 12 to 18 months, it's found its way pretty much everywhere. So we have all kinds of people using NDI now to record, stream, and produce content to go out to people around the world. It's been an awesome roller coaster of a ride, actually. COVID certainly hasn't done the world any favors, but I think it has really sped up the adoption of NDI workflows and NDI as a protocol to the marketplace.
Yeah, agreed. And what's changed? Well, this is going to be a leading question because I hope that you pick out the project that I've read an article about. But what's been an interesting project for you guys that has capitalized on that Zoom integration or UC blend, shall we say?
Yeah, so one of the cool things we did, I mean, we're all sports fans over at BirdDog, and we did some work with Zoom with the NBA using some of our cameras to integrate directly into Zoom. They were used for ref cams on the side of the courts as well. So it's been a really interesting project, and yeah, there's been some great videos that have been shot using that sort of unique workflow that we developed with them.
Nice. But you guys are not just a camera company. You've evolved beyond that. Obviously, with NDI 5, now it's the transport. What other products are you guys in the world of? Because people may just know you as the, uber cool, cameras. What else is it that you provide?
Yeah, so we're really lucky. We haven't produced products in isolation. So we don't just do PTZ cameras. We don't just do hardware encoders. We actually do the software that sort of connects everything together as well. So we already had our BirdDog Cloud platform that was released in 2019 at IBC, and that allows you to take NDI, encode it to SRT, and then move it across public internet to any receiving point in the world. And we've had some great user cases with customers using that for all kinds of things, from corporate through to sports. But now, obviously, with NDI 5 coming out with the implementation of RUDP, there are more workflows that we can achieve using some of the new features like Bridge and our new Cloud Connect and Play products. So remote viewing, post-house production, remote production, the world of possibilities is immense for what we can do now with the new implementation of NDI 5.
Very interesting stuff, man. I appreciate that. One of the things that I'm going to forewarn you, typically we go on an elevator ride, but obviously you have a very low ceiling there with this hardwood. Not going to take an elevator ride with you this time. So folks, you're going to have to hang on because I'm about to recreate the elevator ride in a different way for Phill to answer. So Jenny, you have a couple more questions or for Phill?
Do you know what? I have a feeling that given what we're about to do, those questions will probably be answered. So in today's world, we have a lot of conspiracy theories, a lot of, non-factual news that makes fake news that heads out on social media. Here we are streaming on our social channels, and it's time for a debunking.
Yes.
You guys were talking about something called NDI and NDI 5. I think our viewers would love to know in 10 questions exactly what that is, what's true and what's not.
Absolutely. We are going to go through the 10 and less than 10. You ready for this, Phill?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Here we go. First question. What does NDI stand for? Please don't say no dumb ideation.
Network Device Interface.
Excellent. And the 5?
Just version 5.
So there you go, folks. Version 5 is NDI 5. The BirdDog logo is one of my favorite. What kind of bird is that?
Do you know what? I have absolutely no idea. It's just a mashup of a bird and a dog stuck together. I think the guys who designed it maybe had a few beers when they were doing the design process. So yeah, it's a bird and a dog squashed together.
mythical bird of cameras. We'll go with that. That works?
Sounds good, yeah.
Awesome. What is the most interesting BirdDog install that you can talk about? Now, you mentioned the NBA one. That was pretty cool, and we've actually seen some photographic evidence of that, so you definitely are telling the truth there. What is something that you can tell us, a cool install or cool way that the BirdDog cameras or maybe their other devices have been used that you are allowed to tell us?
I'll stick with a sporting theme. One of the other installs that we've done or did recently was for the Australian Swimming Championships that were held up in the Gold Coast. And they used sort of predominantly our all-weather cameras, which is something that people forget. I think that we do. We have IP67-based NDI cameras. So they were up in the Gold Coast. Everybody thinks, yeah, Gold Coast, sunny. It poured with rain for 3 days. Outdoor swimming pool, the competition carries on. Hey, they're getting wet anyway, so a little bit of rain doesn't hurt. So the cameras were there. They were able to carry on filming and to carry on the production because they were just weather tight.
Has to be done. Exactly. Awesome. Well, awesome. Swimming and video. Who would have thought? Anyway, next question. BirdDog loves the color green. Can you name 2 famous people with green in their name?
Eva Green and let's go old school. Blue Peter for those in the UK. Sarah Green.
Wow, but obviously that's not the answer we were looking for. We were looking for CeeLo Green and Brian Austin Green for all you Gen Xers that are out there looking for Beverly Hills 90210. But thank you for a good shot there. Next question that I have.
It's new. It's the modern generation of IT-based products. SDI, that's the engineers in the basement that may be aging a little bit now. It's old technology.
Wow, you're going with the rookie over the tried veteran. Well, Folks, everybody has an opinion. Do not add them for that. Next question that we have. BirdDog started in Australia. Obviously, you were doing swimming competitions in Australia as well. Not you personally, sir. Do not send us photographic evidence of that. We do not want to see that. Can you tell me the current medal count at the 2021 Olympics that Australia has?
Do you know what? No, I can't. But I know they've just beaten us in the ladies' football, so it's a sore point at the moment.
Okay. And my data is incorrect, but at one point they were tied with the UK on July 28th. They had 16 each, so you both win. Yeah. Okay, true or false? Ready? This one's getting kind of hard. True or false? NDI is now supported on Zoom.
It is indeed. Yeah, absolutely.
So it is now. If I was to turn on my Zoom app, it would actually do all the stuff that's absolutely necessary to make that happen. It's integrated. It comes into that, and you guys get the thumbs up.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as you've got the latest version downloaded and installed on your computer, yeah.
Yeah, you're not hearing it first, folks, but you are definitely getting a confirmation here. And my final question for Mr. Lane. Get ready. Mr. Lane, you must answer this one. And I'm referring to you as Mr. Lane because it's a very formal question. Mr. Lane, what famous person lived on Drury Lane?
I have no idea. Other than being famous for a theatre, you've got me.
Jenny,
okay, throw it out to the viewers. Come on.
Muffin Man. Muffin Man lives on Drury Lane.
The Muffin Man.
Phill, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for going 10 for 10 with us. That was a very interesting kind of back and forth. I appreciate it. Where can we find out more information about you and BirdDog?
Yeah, visit our website, bird-dog.tv, or send me an email, reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter, or give me a call. My number's out there for most people, and I do answer at most times of the day.
Awesome. Jenny, you have any parting thoughts for Mr. Lane?
No, just a big fat thank you for joining us and for the epic video and clearing up the NDI and NDI5 myths. Thanks so much, Phill.
No problem at all. It's a pleasure.
Sounds great.
Thanks for joining
us.
Thanks,
guys.
Thanks, Phill.
So we've had a couple of comments come in. Some of them are just really nice. So thanks, Gabe, for telling us that the video is crisp and smooth. I don't know if he means that the pre-recorded video with Clive was smooth or he thinks Clive is smooth. Both work. Then we have another comment say stress testing a hotel network prior to a client choosing it as a space is vital to success. Absolutely. Knowing the in-house or contracted IT person on a first name basis is vital. So we keep coming back to that, guys. We have all got to find an IT person and make friends with them. It does look pretty split out there in terms of going to the in-person events or watching them online. So it's really 50-50, I'd say, with what we're getting in.
I'm pretty much done with this conversation. Ben, I'm done. Ben, can we please, producer Ben, yes, roll the videotape?
The announcement.
We're going to do this now. There you have it, folks. That wasn't a rumor. That is not a lie. That is a spoiler. November 5th.
Remember the 5th of November. We will be attempting to stream a Midwich live as a pre-show to the AV Awards ahead of the legends that are Chris Neto and Tim Albright getting into their swanky jackets for the main event. So we're really excited. We know that there's sufficient bandwidth to support us from Battersea Evolution. Yep. And we are quickly pulling together with the help of our colleagues at Holdan, our sort of makeshift studio setup, any ideas that you have of who you would like us to talk to when we're there, what you would like to hear from, what sort of behind the scenes at the AV Awards, info you'd like to get, please get in touch and let us know, and we'll see if we can work any of that into the show.
Absolutely. This is, to me, to finally be part of a live pre-show, as opposed to obviously doing the show with Tim Albright, which has been a great honor. And thank you to AV Magazine for having both me and Tim there. But now to do a pre-show with you, Jenny, is going to be fun, because that place, or that show, is very, very unique for me, and it's very formal. So I want to make it as informal as possible. Maybe I'll show up in a t-shirt with a jacket. I don't know. I gotta keep on brand somehow, right? But anyway, folks, if you are going to if you are going to be there for the AV Awards on November 5th, let us know. Reach out to us either via email, on the socials, however you need. Send me a pigeon with the note on it. I'll accept that. Let us know that you're going to be there, and we will try to schedule you on and put you in there and have a few conversations about what's going on. And yes, I will not be able to be, commenting on the fashion side of that business, because I don't know. Maybe we're gonna have to enlist somebody to do that, because I'm wearing my Crocs. So at this point,
we should wear our Crocs.
I'm the least stylish person you want.
We should definitely wear our Crocs, and I welcome and actively encourage other AV Awards attendees to wear their Crocs. If you're wearing Crocs, you will definitely get an interview with us on pre-show. So we are nearing the end. We've had 3 fantastic guests on the show today, and it's time to announce the competition for this week, which is a pretty cool one. But first of all, the winner of last week's competition and the lucky recipient of a £50 Starbucks voucher and the Smart Technologies swag and merch is Adam Osborne from Bosch. And I think we all agreed that, Adam, your name is particularly easy to say, so you are welcome to enter more competitions in our view. Congratulations, Adam. Chris, what's this week's competition?
This week, 2 English League Premier tickets are on the line. Folks, you have to answer a question if you want to go see. Man, you guys are going to make fun of me. I am sorry to the AV Brits. Norwich City versus Arsenal, and we have a great little BirdDog swag pack as well. That's going to be sent out to you with some really cool stuff there. As you can see on that, right below us here, the BirdDog play device. Yep, and some branded goods. So please get ready for the question. You can submit the question, and here is the competition question. What is the name of Norwich City's home stadium? Get on the Googles, folks, for all my American friends. First of all, Google how to pronounce that, because I was about to butcher it by calling it Norwich, and it's not, it's Norwich. Anyway, and that's where, right there, go there to midwich.com/MLComp5. That's where you need to be. The T&Cs can be found there. If you are in the UK, you are eligible to win the football, not American football, the football tickets. Outside of the US, you are going to be, the T's and C's are there. Please read them. Folks, I honestly I'm exhausted. This was a great show. I feel like it was, we have exciting guests that are coming on, people that have lined up. Get in touch with us. Let us know if you want to come on the show, because we're always open to some fun stuff. And as we're moving into the fall, there's some crazy things happening. And for those that don't know, today is July 30th. There's some interesting news coming up that's called a teaser. Look at the AV conversations that are going to be going out on the webs today, because there's some interesting stuff coming out. So please, folks, take a look, and we are going to move our next show to a different date.
That's right. That's my fault. I've booked some holiday, and we need a bit of a rest, I think, don't we, Chris? So we have a slight extension. So unlike our normal end of the month or last Friday of the month show, we have shifted it by a couple of weeks. So I'm out of action for a week, and then Chris is somewhere very exciting the following week. So we will be joining you again on Friday the 10th of September. We will be having a topic or discussing LED. We've got some exciting potential guests for you, but we'll let you know more about the title of the show and who will be joining us nearer to the time. So that will be Friday the 10th of September at 3 p.m. GMT. I've been Jenny. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can reach out to me by email, jenny.hicks@midwich.com. I can also point you in the right direction for a contact in your territory within the Midwich Group. And of course, more specifically within our broadcast businesses, if what you've heard today makes you think that you could use some of our assistance, or you can find me on Twitter @MidwichJenny. Chris, sign us out.
Yep. My name's Chris Neto. You can find me on Twitter, Chris_Neto on Twitter. Connect with me on LinkedIn, Christopher Neto CTS. You'll find me there. You'll also find me across all the other socials. More importantly, I am here to help. I'm with a company called Starin. I'm part of the Midwich Group. Starin.biz is the website. Let me know if I can help you. I've heard that people are having a hard time finding some products. I know where to find it. Hit me up. Let me know. I can put you in touch not only with myself, but I can sneak off a message to Jenny, who can probably do the same thing. No, probably. She can do the same thing over in the UK. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. This has been another Midwich Live. See you next month.